What is up, everyone? Episode 11 of the B+Ball Boys podcast. We are here after an exciting first weekend of game ones in the round of one. And we have some thoughts. But first, how are you guys doing?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing well.
I'm doing real good. Thank you for asking.
Of course,
William.
of course. Excited.
Yeah, I was doing this. It gets really weird. Like the closer you fold your fingers, the weirder it is.
What is this?
Like it's like, oh, peace. But then when you
okay.
do this, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I didn't even know what you were going for anymore.
Throw them off.
Never let them know your next move.
Yes,
That's true. That's true. Well, so let's just first start off before we get into the games. Marcus Smart was crowned DPOY today, I believe. How do we feel about that, guys?
Can we just go over the finalists real quick? So it was Marcus Smart, obviously.
Mikal Bridges and Rudy Gobert, I think, right?
Rudy Gobert and Marcus Smart, yes.
Okay. If you don't have a strong, if you have an opinion, go ahead. I got a pretty strong one.
You know, I think I'm thinking about Kevin Durant saying something pretty recently, maybe in the past couple of weeks, where he said that a lot of these awards, they really just fall on the narrative of the year, which narrative is really compelling. And I think, I think the whole like guard thing, probably played. I don't want to diminish Marcus Smart and his accomplishments and achievements. Very happy for him, but I'm pretty sure it played a part in him getting this award. So
yeah,
Marco, I'm gonna roll it on to Marco.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was gonna say that, except for a little bit more strongly. Like, we're not gonna pretend like Marcus Smart isn't a phenomenal defensive player, and probably, I think that the Celtics, without him, would fall into a lot of, not trying hard enough. People always say he's the heart of their team. He's a little energy ball for them. And I'm not even against the idea of a guard winning Defensive Player of the Year, because you're taking on, some of the toughest matchups every night. And point of attack defense, I think, is sometimes overlooked and really important. But there is a reason that no guard since Gary Payton had won. And it's because in basketball, if you're bigger, you have an advantage. And that advantage is you're closer to the rim. If you're taller and have longer arms, like, I'm sorry, you're going to be a better defensive player. And the way that basketball is organized, the rim protector is, as they say, like the quarterback of the defense. It's not just
good point.
It's not just coming over to block shots. It's having to be very vocal. You know what I mean? So while I'm not against the concept of a guard winning overall, they, to me, have to do better than a big did on defense. And I don't even think that he was the best defensive player on his own team. I would have given it to Robert Williams over him. And I don't think that he missed so many games that would have discredited him with a meniscus injury. It's very clear what changed their season was an adjustment that involved Robert Williams' defense, which was kind of putting him defending a player in the corner and then allowing him to roam. Before that, they were straight up a bad defensive team. So if you even want to give it to a Celtic because they had such a bad start, I feel like it's Robert Williams, because the adjustment with Robert Williams was what caused them to become the best defense in the league. But that's really a coaching decision too.
Sure.
The guy that I had, I got to stand up for my guy, Jaren Jackson Jr., without a roster of particularly great defenders. No disrespect. Quarterback like a top 5 defense. I'm not saying that it was by himself, but he's the most important player on a given night in the regular season. And you can see that because they were winning games without John Morant, because they had a top 5 defense, because Jaren played 78 games, which I'll also reiterate was something like 20 more than Bam, 20 more than Rudy Gobert and like 15 more than Giannis. He played more games than all of them. I personally feel like he was more impactful. If you're going to give it to a Celtic, I would either give Ime Coach of the Year if you really believe in it that much, or Robert Williams Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow. Okay. I think you've laid out a good case there. Yeah, I think there was just a lot of Rudy, fatigue. So I think he was sort of taken out of the discussion, even if he deserved to be in it. I know he's a third place finisher or whatever. So, but I just think they weren't going to give it to him. And then, yeah, JJJ got a shortchange there, maybe.
Not even a finalist, man. That's that's disrespectful.
That's a snub. It's a snub.
Yeah.
All right. I think we covered that. But Boston, Brooklyn. Wow, this series is going to be something. Tatum in the clutch. Great, clock awareness by the team. They they survived the comeback that the Nets had mounted. What were you guys seeing in that game? What stood out to you?
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant stood out to you.
DeMar DeRozan had a quote after his game where he said there's no way in hell he's going to shoot how poorly he shot in his game. And I feel like that applies to a lot of people, a lot of players in their game ones, including Kevin Durant. I think
he didn't even
Kyrie overachieving in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Kevin Durant underachieving. I think there's going to be a balance come next game. Kyrie will come down. He's not going to shoot 60% from three. KD will not have more field goals than points.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting that it was a 1-point game, even with Kevin Durant shooting so poorly. Because
it became it felt like once the lead that they'd built had evaporated and it was tight, they felt like a must win. So I'm glad that the series seems to have life now, since I think if you're evaluating it, the Nets seem like the better team, even though they lost.
I would not go that far.
Really? Okay.
First of all, a win is a win.
Yeah.
Right. You guys are probably right that KD will play better. Kyrie will also probably play a little worse. You'll get some balancing out there. But matchup wise, I didn't really see any answer for Tatum. He had 31. Jaylen Brown, I felt like he could have played better as well. Although he played the end of the game very well, I feel. But the X factor to me is Al Horford, who, first of all, just seems to be better than any of Brooklyn's bigs, just straight up better.
Yeah, that's true.
And they clearly have a size advantage. Even with Drummond on the court, they have a size advantage. They're getting offensive rebounds. I'm not saying that Horford is bigger than Al, but they're just the rebounding. But the thing about Al Horford is he's fast enough. His feet are quick enough to make those switches not a death sentence. So when you get Kyrie on the switch at the end of the game, Al Horford has a brilliant defensive possession.
Yeah.
And they result in that KD kind of sidestep three that he didn't make, leading to the game winner. But all game, I kind of felt like Horford was playing brilliantly on the switches. So my X factor here is Al Horford, who I don't really see a way for Brooklyn to get around this. They're not going to play him off the court. They don't have good enough personnel to do that. They're, they can try harder on the glass, I guess. That's all that I really got for them in this situation.
They got rebounded by 14.
Something also too is, I think, something that's more sustainable is so the main catalyst for both teams, when you look at the box score team stats, the main things that jump out are Brooklyn shooting 45.8% from three, and then Boston having 24 more points in the paint. I think
Yeah.
the points in the paint is much more sustainable.
That's true.
That margin is much more sustainable than having the team shoot 45.8% from three, which is mostly Kyrie, because the team only shot 24 threes in the entire game. Kyrie took 10 of them.
Yeah.
I also think that Claxton. Okay, so you got two bigs for Brooklyn, really, and I'm really focusing in on this matchup because I kind of feel like we saw the duel between Tatum Brown and Irving, and Jaylen Brown, or sorry, Irving and KD. They played up each other mostly even, right? Like Tatum had a really good game.
Yeah.
Irving had a really good game. I'm not sure Jaylen Brown had the best game. KD didn't really have the best game. So I'm thinking about like the bigs. Like I just don't think that Brooklyn is going to be able to stop those points in the paint at all, really. And they could play Drummond, and I'm not sure that they'll get a lot of scoring with Drummond because he's not super dynamic of a scorer. I mean, he does stuff, but I don't think that he's that dynamic. Claxton, though, I kind of feel like you gotta hack Claxton.
Yeah. No,
consider it.
That's the move. I think. What are his free throw numbers?
He went 1 for 5,
Yeah.
and I mean they lost by 1. And I don't think that he doesn't look particularly confident there. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but
he's 58% this season.
I think that you could get into his head a little bit with this. I'm not saying that you gotta completely fall back on hacking Claxton, but let's say you get down in a game, you could try it. Yeah. Let's say that he's got like a dunk or something like that. You could wrap him up as long as you prevent the and one. He's got to make 2 at the line. That could be a liability for the Nets. I mean, we saw how that played out for the Sixers last year with Ben Simmons. And I think Claxton is part of their closing lineup and some of the Nets' best lineups numerically. And if they neutralize that, then that could be really effective for the Celtics.
I wonder too. I was mentioning threes. I wonder so in the game we saw Marcus Smart took the most threes on the Celtics side. I don't imagine that being he shot the ball well too from 3, by the way. He's 4 for 9, which is pretty good. But I also don't picture that being the Celtics game plan of, okay, we want Marcus Smart to take most of the team's threes. So I wonder who's going to be the person to take more threes, and maybe to Marco's point, give the ball more to Al Horford instead of taking those threes. If it's an open look, you take it, but I can imagine Al Horford gained a lot of confidence from that game. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that they shifted their game plan to focus on Al Horford. I think he's just gonna win in doing what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although you could get him more open shots. He's a great shooter, I'm pretty sure. Grant Williams, I kind of think that maybe they should stick Grant Williams in the starting lineup rather than Tice. This might take down a little bit of their size advantage. But Grant Williams was something like a 46% 3-point shooter. He shot mostly corner threes.
Really?
And he's a mobile enough defender. He is a guy that could switch. So I'm thinking if things get tough for the Celtics, they might try out a new starting lineup or a new lineup with Grant Williams at the 4. Not a bad idea for them to have in their back pocket.
Fair. Okay. So
he had an off night too. He was 0 for 4 from 3, and 2 of his threes were the corner threes. So
yeah, and I think that he was really effective from there. As long as that's not him being in his own head, I think that should normalize. I think that was just randomness though.
Yeah. So you're optimistic.
Still. I'm optimistic for the Celtics. I had the Celtics winning the series in 6 beforehand. I'm not saying that I don't think by no means do I think the Nets are an easy out or anything. But,
no.
I expect them to continue battling it out and the Celtics to pull it out at the end.
Okay.
Also, I'm pretty sure if we look at KD's plus minus numbers, that while this is like an off game for them, I'm still pretty sure that the Nets cannot really survive non-KD minutes.
Yeah, they don't. What was his plus minus?
He was minus 13 in the 41 minutes that he played.
What
He was a
KD
minus. KD was.
KD was minus 13.
Okay. Well, that's counter to my thoughts, but I'm still gonna stick with it because we expect KD to play better. Let's say that he plays 43 minutes. Like, you can still lose the game in the 5 minutes that he doesn't play.
Yeah.
You know, that's been an issue for the Celtics this entire season, or sorry, for the Nets this entire season. Don't really expect it to change just because of one bad KD game.
That's fair.
Interestingly, Goran Dragic was plus 17 in the 20.
Yeah, he had a really good game. I'm not sure that will continue.
We have to
at least to that degree.
A lot of regression to the mean coming up soon.
Yeah. All right. Do we want next up Wolves Grizz? Sorry,
do we? Let us venture into this.
130 to 117 Grizz. Tough out, but you know, it's a game one. I do not. I guess I feel like I should let Marco have the floor here.
Okay. First of all, I will say I will be in the building tomorrow. I guess they couldn't handle it without me, so I gotta see what's going on. I'm gonna get this all figured out.
There we go.
Okay. I'm gonna get us straightened out. But look, I'm not overly concerned. Losing game one sucks, but I'm not like panicking. Reason being, first of all, the shooting discrepancy was pretty extreme. If you take a look at their shooting numbers, I'm pretty sure the Grizzlies shot like 25% from three. A lot of their good shooters were missing shots. The Wolves made a ton of threes. Jaren Jackson got in really bad foul trouble. Despite having 7 blocks, I think he played like less than 20 minutes. At some point, he had 7 blocks in 13 minutes, but couldn't stay on the floor. Steven Adams is probably my biggest concern here. He is not matching up well with Cat. I think that you either try him on Jared Vanderbilt and Jaren on Cat, or you bring Steven Adams off the bench and start Brandon Clark, which is, it's not disrespect to Steven Adams, but what he brings is like rebounding. He's good passing, you know, and the Grizzlies got out rebounded. I'm pretty sure, just from, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just from watching the game, they were getting out rebounded, which is normally their strength. I didn't see Steven Adams get any of his offensive rebounds. I didn't see him get many assists. He is averaging a career high in assists at close to 4. I don't think that he got any. It's usually a little nice 2-man game with Bane. And the lineup that seemed to have the most success was either Jaren and Brandon Clark as the bigs, or when Jaren was in foul trouble, Brandon Clark and Kyle Anderson as the bigs, kind of using the Clippers strategy of putting Kyle Anderson on Karl Anthony Towns, who is smaller but has long arms and makes it difficult, and say Cat is not really a physically overpowering center. So let's see what happens. Also, Anthony Edwards, you made a ton of shots. The Grizzlies, they got to figure out some stuff defensively. I am not overly concerned though. I think I initially had Grizzlies in 5, which may have been a little bit of bias, but a lot of people had Grizzlies in 6, and I think that is probably the most accurate outcome. I really need them to win game 2 tomorrow, though. I've been talking a lot of smack. So,
well, rooting for you. I think you sort of hit the key points there. Yeah, I mean,
I would be worried about also, not to pile on too much, but the free throw shooting needs to be better too.
Oh yeah. So I mean, look, I was a little inebriated watching this game. but I felt like we had a really bad whistle. And which is funny because the Wolves are the most foul prone team in the league. And to get the rough end, or one of them, like they might be second most foul prone. But the only team that's good that is even close to that level, and it's because they play so aggressively. So it's not even like it's like a flaw. Like it's almost intentional that they foul so much. And a lot of them are Carl Anthony Towns fouls. But it's okay with them that they foul so much, and they had like a very low foul game, or they won the foul battle where that's a weakness for them. They won the rebounding battle where that's a weakness for them. They won the shooting battle. That's a amazing strength for them. I think that tomorrow the Grizzlies are going to come out very strong. I would have, if you're a betting man, the first quarter spread or the first half spread. I feel comfortable in saying that the Grizzlies are going to come out strong. I got to ask you guys a question. Yesterday, Ja Morant, he's a very avid social media user. And, you just kind of got to like take it or leave it. I got no issue with him posting stuff on social media, right? But I wanted to ask how you guys felt about this. Yesterday, he posted on Instagram a clip from The Last Dance. And the clip from The Last Dance is, the context of it is Michael Jordan is down 1-0.
In the finals, or
no, it was like in the first round.
okay.
So did you guys watch The Last Dance?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So they make the playoffs, and Jordan's former teammate BJ Armstrong, as a member of the Hornets, kind of goes off in game 1.
Yeah.
And they lose to the Hornets in game 1.
Right.
And I think the documentary people ask, like, are you concerned? And Jordan is waving around like a baseball bat in the locker room, and he's like, no, I'm not concerned. They won a game, so what? Let's see all that trash talking when it's 0-0. It's easy to trash talk when you're up. Let's see if you can trash talk when it's 0-0 or when you're down. So I just wanted to ask, what do you think of Ja posting that?
I mean, I like the sentiment. I guess he is talking schmack down. So I guess he is living what he's preaching, which I appreciate.
He does.
I just always find it funny when people like who aren't close to like the GOAT of their respective sport or in that debate, like invoke like sort of the Last Dance mythology. Like when Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams did it last year, it was like, you guys haven't done anything together. Like, why do you think I don't know. Like, but he could end up like proving himself right. But
I mean, I guess I don't even take. Go, Eric. Do you have? Could you answer the question before I give my own answer to the question?
I would say, I mean, he's running up the chimney looking for that smoke, but
he is
careful not to cough.
Okay.
Can get quite dirty in there.
Yeah. I guess my thought is like athletes always do something like this, like mentally. So what's new? You know what I mean? Like what's the difference between, like, it's not that he needs extra motivation, right? It's the playoffs. Right. I'm sure he's motivated enough. Yeah. But I just kind of feel like it's like fuel for the fire. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that he didn't have a bad game on Saturday. Like his game was fine. Obviously they didn't do enough to win. But that's part of what I'm saying is like, that's why I kind of feel like they're going to come out real strong on Tuesday is like, obviously the game 1 loss got to them. That's all I got. You know what I mean? Like you would rather him post something and clearly care than not.
True.
He clearly, he invoked the Last Dance and stuff like that. Like he very obviously wants to be great, and okay, like if they lose, it's gonna be like a generational L after posting that. I understand, that kind of that's sitting in your head like I can't lose this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So go out and win,
Right.
I got no issue with it. I don't see it as like comparing yourself to Jordan. I don't see it as like a distraction or anything. You know, they had 2 days off in between games. He posted a little clip from The Last Dance that I thought the context was very appropriate. So
It makes sense. I'd prefer it obviously to something like what Kyrie does. Like,
oh yeah, we
fine.
didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to talk about it if we want, but
yeah, sure. What do you think of Kyrie and his adverse relationship with Boston fans?
Not good. I mean, well, I don't even think he's just like trying to like revise history. Like, it's like, dude, like you were there, you know, a couple of years. You guys didn't accomplish anything. But like then you're mad at them for being upset with you for leaving when you promised you would if they would have you. Like, I don't know. But then I think like people have gotten over that. And now he's just like trying to be like a total heel. And then I'm curious like what the over under you guys think is for like the total fines he's gonna get from the NBA. Or has that already come out yet?
I think the max is $50K, and he's probably gonna get $50K.
So just every game he's gonna have to pay $50K, you think?
Well, every game in Boston probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he gets paid like $250K a game, right? So
yeah,
that's probably
so it's
like
not
150. I bet he thinks it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's another thing that I mean, like fuel for the fire. Like he balled out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Out. You know, I don't agree with a lot of his views and stuff like that. But in my mind, sports, there should be like a little back and forth with fans if it doesn't cross the line.
Right.
I saw a clip where a fan yelled at him, "Kyrie, you suck." I thought that was within bounds.
Yeah, okay? I think that's within bounds.
I also thought what he yelled back. I also thought what he yelled back was within bounds.
Really?
I disagree with that.
I disagree as well.
I thought that if you yell that at him, it's within bounds, but he's welcome to yell something like that back at you. I think
if he were like to be like F you, like that would be within bounds, but what he said is not.
Quite crass what he said.
I thought it was fair. I thought
it was rather crass.
I mean, I think
you know, this is sports. This is why I love basketball. And my dad, no disrespect to my dad, but he watches tennis, which is like a gentleman's sport where like you can't show a lot of emotion. They give you like the penalties real quick if you break a racket or yell something or something like that. You can't talk trash. None of that is like the fans have to be quiet. None of that is allowed. I like basketball partially because of this. I like that you get to you know, like I'm not saying that you I'm sure a lot of the Boston fans took it too far. Okay, but in that like one instance, saying Kyrie you suck, I don't think it's taking it too far. I think that he should be able to yell it back. And I think that he should be able to taunt the fans when he makes a shot. Whether he's holding up the middle finger, like you can debate that. But I think that he should be able to give it back to the fans when he makes a shot. You know what I mean? Well, like I like that about sports. I like the chippiness. I don't really see it as like, I don't know. It's part of the reason I love basketball. So I'm not going to see a problem with it. Now, if they take it too far, say something, let's say about his family or you know what the line is. The line, everybody like knows on some level what the line is. You know? I'm not saying that they can cross the line, but I just kind of feel like this sport, the playoff atmosphere is a little chippy, and that's great. That's part of the reason I love playoff basketball. That's just my opinion.
For sure. Cool. I think we covered that. Do we want to move on to the next game or anything else with Wolves Grizz? Okay. So next up, Bucks Bulls. The Bucks squeaked one out, but They're
Ugly.
previous to this, they were like 1-5 in game ones the last like 3 years. So maybe they're just, maybe this was a narrow victory, but really, if we adjust, would be like a 15-point victory in game 2. So that's just a thought. But what were you guys thinking?
This game was hard to watch.
It was hard to
Fourth
watch.
quarter, man.
Yeah, the box score was not it.
They
was
played
ugly.
they played some ugly basketball.
Was ugly.
I kind of felt like the Bucks played with their food in the late first and early second quarter, let the Bulls get back into it, and then couldn't shake them off.
Mhm.
I still kind of am seeing Bucks in 4 or 5. If the Bulls have a win in them, great. One guy I am happy for. Oh, first of all, what a game by Caruso. Okay.
Yeah.
But one guy I'm happy for, the dude who got slandered all year on the Bulls was Nikola Vucevic, and he balled out. He almost saved the game for them.
Yeah.
Now he missed a few layups that he could have made, but he easily had the best game on the Bulls. Almost saved them the game. Battled it out with Brook Lopez, who was looking really good. And I do think that you're right. I was talking to this with a friend who's a Bucks fan. You'd be harder pressed to find a game 1 that the Bucks played well in than a game 1 they didn't, right? Like it would be difficult to find a game 1 they played well in. In Orlando, they dropped game 1 to the Magic, who were the 8th seed. It took them a Chris Middleton game winner to beat the Heat last year in game 1. They ended up sweeping. None of the rest of the games were even really close. No. So that's, relatively pretty bad. They looked completely lost against Brooklyn in game 1 and game 2 of that series. I think that they played a good game 1 in Phoenix in the finals, but like Phoenix just outplayed them.
Yeah.
You just have a bad history with game 1s with them, and I'm hoping that they take the Bulls a little bit more serious, because it was kind of ugly the way that they kind of played with them, and I just don't like to see that, like, playing with your food. I just kind of think it's bad ball, tough to watch. I also have money on the Bucks, like, sweeping, so
that's fair. Well, it's a lot. I mean, I think it'll be a more comfortable game next. Do they play tomorrow?
They do
I'll have to check.
They play on Wednesday.
Yeah, then? I think they might not have a game until Wednesday. Tomorrow is just Atlanta, Miami, Minnesota, Memphis, and New Orleans, Phoenix. So the 2 1/8s and also Grizz Wolves, which is a good one.
Yeah, it's the one good one tomorrow. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have much to say about it. It was tough. It was, I mean, it looked like a early 2000s score at the end there. But
give me a yes or no from you guys. Do the Bulls win a game?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
In fact, they win on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
I don't have that.
I think they win game
3. Yeah, that's the one that I would give them.
They're gonna win Wednesday.
I think down 0-2, they win the first one at home. Then the Bucks come back, win the next 2.
I'm with Will here.
Yeah. Okay, and then Raptors Sixers are universal. Raptors in 7 take is a bit in question, but it is a lot, obviously.
Can I excuse us a little bit?
Sure, please.
Like, Scotty Barnes is like the Raptors' 3rd best player, but he is so incredibly important for what they do. First of all, because Nick Nurse plays his starters like a ridiculous amount of minutes, like 38 minutes per game in the regular season. Mm-hmm. And second, because like he actually has size. I'm not center size, but he has size and can guard all 5 positions. And him being out matters a lot, in my opinion. And may, like, they might have lost the series anyway because Embiid is so good. I think people might have overthought it a little bit because Embiid is just that good. But Scotty Barnes being out, like if he can't play, like I really think that it should be an easy series for the Sixers. I think he matters that much.
I agree.
Which is awesome for a rookie. But on top of that, they got, Fred VanVleet doesn't look 100%. Gary Trent Jr. played sick today. I think Thad Young missed the game. He also got injured in game one.
Down.
Yeah,
a lot of players.
I think that they get a game in Toronto at least.
Hope so.
Sure hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. Nick Nurse is going to pull out some unknown defense that has only been seen in like the British G League before.
Yeah.
He's going to pull out something crazy in one of these games and I think surprise the Sixers, but the Sixers are one bigger and two more talented, I think. Which is unfortunate. I really like watching the Raptors play, and I wish that they made this competitive. I hope that they do. They still can.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, so we want to talk Nuggets Warriors.
Sure.
Again, a bit disappointing, but it is only game one. And I guess, they just held serve with home court. But you definitely can tell that the Nuggets are down about 50 million in cap on the floor. But
they sure
are. Joker didn't play bad, but didn't play great.
I don't think he almost never plays bad.
That's true. That's fair.
But they need him to be like an all-timer.
Yeah. I mean, but the scary thing is Steph didn't even play good, like well. And
yeah.
But I mean, Poole also will play worse, you would imagine.
Right. I mean, I think Poole started the game.
Yeah. Steph came off the bench.
Yeah, Poole. I missed the beginning of the game, but yeah, Poole started the game, and they brought Steph off the bench again today. The game is in the second quarter. The Nuggets are actually up a little bit, but
let's go.
I do think that I hope that they make it competitive. It can be a little hard to watch sometimes and I've watched so many Nuggets games this year, because of Serbia, but it can be hard to watch sometimes how they just can't do anything without Joker. And it's not that they have, and people overstate it, like it's not that they're bad players, they're just like in over their heads. And if they weren't so injured, those players would be playing like in their role, and they'd be a deep team with like all this like stuff, and it's just a shame, and it can be a little tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a tough one for me. I will say this: I'll probably have to take my L here because the Raptors one, I'm like Scotty Barnes mattered a lot in making the series close. This one, I'm like I think I literally thought that Denver was a bad matchup for Golden State when it's like the other way around.
Yeah.
I got a little fooled by the regular season series, but just because like Golden State doesn't really have a big that can mess with Jokic, they kind of got everything else.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts here?
Not particularly. We'll see if they can pull it out tonight, like you're saying. But
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5. By the way, if they pull it out tonight, like 100% chance Steph starts the next game, even if he's not.
You're right. You're right. Well, I'm glad. Okay, and then the last game we wanted to touch on, and I'm glad we waited this long.
Yeah.
It looks that Mavs Jazz, Mavs dropped one, lost home court, but they've stolen one without their beautiful Luka. So it seems like the series is alive. They're up 5 with 20, up 6 with 24 seconds left.
You know what? Jazz, They are the lower seed. They're going back to Utah with 1 game. It's tied. I think they're okay. I think they'll be okay.
Okay, but you're the big Mavs guy here. I think we can call you that, right, Eric?
The 3-seed Mavs prediction is so close.
You can call me whatever you want, man.
Okay.
My buddy Eric.
Let's be real. First of all, the Mavs, if they didn't get a split here, like I don't even know if you bring Luka back. Like that's how lost it was.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fair.
But getting a split here, when is the next game? I think you have a few days, and I mean the game. There's like 15 seconds left, but it looks like, yeah, I mean they're dribbling it out right now.
Yeah.
Getting a split here, like I think Luka is now like bringing Luka back is now in play. You're at least getting a game 5 in Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that he would be ready for game 3, but I don't know, maybe like play on a minutes restriction in game 4, come back game 5, and hopefully look a bit like yourself. You could be going to Utah maybe at 3-2, needing to steal a game on the road, but I kind of feel like the Mavs are alive here.
Yeah.
Which I'm holding on to hope with my pick from last week.
Right.
But I think that this split, they needed a split to stay alive. They could not go down to Utah down 0-2. It
Right.
would have just been a sweep, no point in bringing Luka back.
Yeah,
they're still alive.
Yeah.
Do we agree the Mavs are still alive here?
Yeah, especially if Donovan Mitchell keeps shooting him out of the game. Look right now. Yeah. This is the stat line. The game just ended.
Okay.
13 for 30.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Not great.
Shoot like that.
These are
shots?
Yeah, that's these crazy. Are low scoring wars. I feel like the Dallas defense, like the Dallas defense does pretty well on what the Jazz do well in the first 2 games at least.
What big on, like, I know we all know Gobert is known for his defensive prowess more than his offensive skill set, but why is Gobert only getting 5 shots up in the game?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like we know that the passing stats from we know the passing stats. I've seen some more stuff on it. They're a little overblown. The real answer is that Quinn Snyder and the Jazz know that Rudy Gobert can't do anything with the ball except for go up for a finish, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even put him in position to get the ball, like to get a pass to him, except for in those situations where in prior years, you know, he used to get the ball at like the top of the key and then they move some stuff around him. They don't even do that anymore. If he's not getting the ball within like 5 feet of the basket, he's not getting the ball. So, you know, we were recording during this game, and I'll have to watch some of it back, but I would assume that the Mavs did a really good job of denying whatever entries to like the lobs, denying him, you know, catches. You know, maybe the Jazz might have been throwing a lot of low passes that were easily stolen and such. Just would they don't even put him in position to catch the ball. I think if they lose this series, like forget Gobert, man. Donovan Mitchell, if they lose this series, we gotta look at Donovan Mitchell in a different light here.
They're both on the block, you think?
I'm not saying that they're both on a block, because I do, like I've said this for a couple of weeks now. I think that they would trade Rudy because Donovan is more like likable and marketable.
Right.
Even though what's going down is not Rudy's fault, in my opinion. He is a limited player, but he is doing his job. In my opinion. If they lose this series, what you got to think, I watched a lot of game 1. The Mavs weren't even getting shots in the paint. They weren't even getting
Yeah.
like into the. They wouldn't attempt a shot in the paint because Gobert was there, right? So
Yeah,
who is
Oh, they only had
allowing these
26
scores?
points in the paint. Yeah. Yikes.
Who is allowing these scores? It's not Gobert. It's a lot of
Right.
the perimeter defenders for Utah. And this is the same thing that happened with the Clippers last year. Is
I mean,
the
22.
Clippers? Yeah, the Clippers guards just got by all the Jazz perimeter defenders. They're
Mhm.
running straight lines at Gobert. In that case, they were finishing or getting corner threes. The Mavs, they take a lot of kick out threes, a lot of mid range shots for Brunson, and I think Dinwiddie has been taking some. But they're not even really attempting shots in the paint. So who is allowing 100 plus points on this team? Because with the personnel, like you could reasonably say they should hold the Mavs to like 85.
Yeah. I mean, they just shot it well tonight.
But they're
especially
a good
from
shooting team. They're a good
Yeah.
shooting team, and they were at home.
You need
Like-
to bench Mike Conley. All right.
Wow,
Whoa.
Start Jordan Clarkson.
interesting. I honestly like.
He did
I
have
can't.
0
I'm gonna initially say that you're joking on me
I'm not.
because he's a former Grizzly, but no,
I'm
you
not
serious?
serious.
yeah, I don't think that he's been that great so far. He was really good last year and the year prior to that, but this year I'm not so sure.
That's fair.
I hate to say it, man, because he's like he might be the best Grizzly of all time.
Not
So,
anymore. It's John.
Yeah, not. I mean, I guess, yeah. You can
Well,
just give-
even before that, it was probably Marc Gasol.
yeah,
but,
that's true. That probably was Marcus.
maybe Powell.
No. The Mark and Mike were better than Powell. Well, like Powell was probably a better player, but with like a much shorter peak / stay in Memphis.
Yeah.
So it's like it's another like, what do you value? Like, did he have a better year than all of them? Yeah, probably. Zach Randolph had the best year probably of any core 4 Grizzly in like 2011. So but I would go with Marc Gasol probably. He won a defensive player of the year, some all NBA teams, all-star starter, stuff like that. What the Mavs are alive.
Mavs are alive.
As of this game, they are alive. They are. I
So
think
are the Grizzlies.
They are.
Grizzlies
They
are
are.
alive.
When it's 1-1 tomorrow night.
0-0.
Ain't no fun when the Rabbits.
I just want to say, if we're not recording this podcast next week and people are wondering where we're at, it's because the Grizzlies got swept and Marco killed all of us in a fit of rage.
There's no way they're getting swept.
If we get swept, somebody needs to perform a wellness check on me. I'm just saying. Come to
Will
Memphis, perform a wellness check on your boy. Fortunately, I don't think my guys are gonna let that happen.
In 5. They got you in 5.
Grizz in 5.
Grizzlies.
All I know is it's gonna be a good. It's already gonna be a good series. Even if Grizzlies win the next 4 games, it's gonna be.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun gentleman's.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, on that happy note,
No.
I think we can call it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks, y'all.